Find the cost of operating it for 10 hours. Given cost per unit is 3 rupees. So let's first write down what we are asked. We need to calculate the cost for operating it for 10 hours. So let's write that down. Cost for 10 hours. This is what we want. Now let's see what's given to us. An air conditioner has a rating of 2 kilowatts, which means we're given the power rating of the air conditioner. This is given as 2 kilowatt. And we need to calculate the cost for 10 hours, which means we are given what is the time for which this is being used, 10 hours. And we're also given the cost per unit is 3 rupees. So let's write that down. So we know cost, let's use a different color for this. So let's use, cost per unit is 3 rupees. So from this data, how do we find how much is the cost for 10 hours? I think the crucial thing over here is to understand what we mean by this word unit. If we understand this, then we can solve this easily. So in electricity, whenever they use the word unit, the word unit actually stands for kilowatt hour. What do we mean by kilowatt hour? It's a unit of energy. For example, if you have a power of 1 kilowatt for any device, and if you use that device for 1 hour, then the energy consumed is, by definition, 1 kilowatt hour. But if the device you're using has a power of 2 kilowatts and use it for 1 hour, then the energy consumed would be 2 kilowatt hours. So that's basically what kilowatt hour is. You just multiply the power and time and you get energy. That's what energy is. Right? So now that we know what a kilowatt hour is, and we know what our power rating is, and we know for how long we're using, can we calculate how much would be the cost for 10 hours? So, great idea to pause the video and just think about how we will do it. Alright, so let's do this. Since we want the cost for 10 hours, the first step for us would be to figure out how many units are being used. How many kilowatt hours are being used? Because we know for 1 kilowatt hour, the amount is 3 rupees. So if we figure out how many kilowatts hour is being used, we can calculate how many rupees it is. So the first step would be to calculate in 10 hours. So for 10 hours, how many kilowatt hour it is? Well, the power is 2 kilowatt. The time is 10 hours. So how much would be the energy consumed? Well, from this, we can clearly say the energy consumed, just by looking at the units, you can say kilowatt hour. 2 kilowatt times 10 hours would be, so 2 kilowatt times 10 hours, that would be 20 kilowatt hours. So the energy that is being consumed is 20 units. 20 units. So in 10 hours, 20 units of energy has been consumed. Now we know for 1 unit, we have to pay 3 rupees. So for 20 units, how much should we pay? Well, the cost would be 20 times 3 rupees. So the cost would be 20 times 3 rupees. That's going to be 60 rupees. 60 rupees. And so there we have it. We've solved our first problem. Let's do one more. A bulb of rating 20 watt is used 5 hours every day. Find the cost of operating it for 30 days. Given the cost per unit is 4 rupees. Great idea to pause this video and see if you can try to do this one yourself. Alright, let's do this. So again, let's find out what's asked. You're asked to find the cost of operation. So again, the same question. Cost for 30 days this time. 30 days. And let's see what's given. We are given the power rating of the bulb. Power rating is 20 watt. We are given it's used 5 hours every day. That's going to be important. So T is 5 hours per day. And it's used for 30 days. So it's used for 30 days. This is going to be important. And we are also given the cost per unit. So again, the unit is the same as kilowatt hour. So the cost per unit is 4 rupees per unit. Unit is kilowatt hour. Alright, so what do we do? Well, again, we have to figure out how many kilowatt hours is the energy consumed. And once we know that, we know for each kilowatt hour 4 rupees, and so then we can go ahead and do the algebra. The only problem is we see that the power is not given in kilowatts, power is given in watts. So how do we do that? That's the first thing we need to do. We need to convert. So let's see. 1 kilowatt I know is 1,000 watt.
Yes.
But what is 1 watt equal to? Well, I'll divide by 1,000 on both sides. And then we'll see that 1 watt, so this cancels. 1 watt is equal to 1 over 1,000 kilowatts. 1 over 1,000 kilowatt. So we can go ahead and write that. This will be 20 times 1 watt is 1 over 1,000 kilowatt. So this will be 1 over 1,000 kilowatt. So this cancels. So it will be 2 over 100 kilowatt. And what's the time? Time is 5 hours per day, but we are using it for 30 days. So what is the total time? Well, we'll multiply them. That's going to be 30 times 5. That's we use for 150 hours in total. Alright? 30 times 5 is 150. So now we have what we want. We have the power in kilowatt, and we also have the time in hours. We can go ahead now and calculate how many kilowatt hour is being used. So if you have not done this before, pause the video and now try it. Alright, let's do this. So the energy, I don't know where to write this, let's put a bar here. Okay, let's do that. So the energy consumed would be kilowatt hour, that will be 2 over 100, 2 over 100 times 150 kilowatt hour. I'm directly writing the units here, kilowatt hour. And that's going to be, let's see, 2 times 150 is 300. So 300 divided by 100, that's going to be 3 kilowatt hour or 3 units. And we know for each unit, we have to pay 4 rupees. So for 3 units, how much should we pay? Oh, for 3 units, we are going to pay 4 times 3, that is just 12 rupees. So the cost is going to be 3 times 4 rupees. That's going to be 12 rupees. And we have solved our problem. So whenever we are asked to calculate or asked to find the cost of operation, and we are given the cost per unit, remember that the word unit always means kilowatt hours. So this gives us a clue that we need to first find the energy consumed in kilowatt hours. To do that, we have to make sure our power is always in kilowatts and the time is always in hours. We multiply them, we'll get the energy in kilowatt hours. Once we do that, we are pretty much done. Then all we have to do is find the cost for so many kilowatt hours.